I'm Cam McKinney. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Head to Head podcast, where I compare athletes against one another and determine which one of those athletes is the very best. This edition of the podcast, however, is a very different episode of the Head to Head podcast. There will still be episodes where I compare the best athletes, but I also want to talk about each situation in the sports. So for this edition of the Head to Head podcast, I'm going to talk about Tiger Woods versus the sport of golf. I'm not a golf fan, but I want to get into Tiger Woods and why I think he's the reason why I don't want to watch golf. I think I'm interested in watching Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, all these young and up-and-coming golfers, Dustin Johnson. I know the names. I know how good they are. I think Tiger Woods is holding me back and is the reason I don't want to watch golf because I'm annoyed by it. I am a sports fan first and foremost because I am interested in young people developing and becoming stars. We saw Tiger stardom. We saw him win 14 major titles. We saw him dominate the sport. But I am sick and tired of Tiger talk after Tiger talk. We are talking about the 50th ranked golfer in the world like he is number one. And that fact alone is annoying. And I can't get over it why I don't watch the sport. I like Rory McIlroy. I find him interesting. I actually find the game of golf somewhat difficult and somewhat interesting. We get out of this argument whether or not they're real athletes and all that. I'm not interested in that conversation. But I am interested in watching competition, which is why I like sports, which is why I watch the NBA, which is why I watch baseball, which is why I watch the NFL. I want to watch tennis too sometimes. I want to get into the other sports. But I think what's holding me back in golf is Tiger Woods, the shadow of Tiger Woods. This used to annoy me in basketball, the LeBron and Michael Jordan comparisons. But at least I could get over it because there are other stars in the game of basketball. There's no other interesting people, according to the media, other than Tiger Woods. ESPN's constant talk of Tiger Woods every single day is getting on my last nerves, and it's holding me back as a golf fan. I want to watch golf, but I don't want to hear the name Tiger Woods. Because 10 years ago, on that day, when Tiger Woods' name was ruined, he hasn't done anything interesting since on the golf course. I don't want to talk about things other than the games. I don't. Which is why I'm annoyed with so many things about Tiger Woods right now. We want to go back to this nostalgic period, and part of what I want to do as a person and as a sports fan is move forward with sports. I only want to talk about what's interesting now and stay in the moment and watch the sports for what they are. We have watched so many good moments in the NBA last year. There's no need to be in the shadow of Michael Jordan anymore. And I think golf needs to get to a point where it doesn't have to be in the shadow of Tiger Woods. They've gone through this before with Jack Nicklaus. I don't understand what's going on with golf. Why are they still in the shadow of him? I think he needs to just kind of go away. I don't think he's ever going to win another major championship. I don't know that for a fact. I know very little about the sport of golf. Heck, the only thing I know about golf is that I'm a really good weak golfer. But I want to talk about this topic because I think it's the thing that's holding me back from being a golf fan. And I think that's a very honest discussion. Some of us are just annoyed by the constant talk of Tiger Woods. It's annoying. I find Rory McIlroy interesting. I find Jordan Spieth interesting. I find so many other people interesting. I find Dustin Johnson to be interesting. I don't find the Tiger talk interesting. And as a sports fan, I want to talk about what is interesting now and in the moment, which I don't think we do enough of in sports. We still talk about 41-year-old Tom Brady because he's still winning. If he wasn't, we wouldn't talk about it. There wouldn't be a 5-year period where there has been one with Tiger. If Tom Brady suffered 5 years of irrelevancy, we wouldn't talk about him the same way we talk about Tiger Woods. And I don't know why that is. I believe in my heart that there's so many people who aren't really golf fans. They're just Tiger Woods fans. Mike Greenberg is somebody who I idolize on ESPN. He won't stop talking about Tiger Woods because he won't get it past. He wasn't a fan of golf before the Tiger Woods period, the Phil Mickelson period. These people are done. We have to move on. That is what sports is about. It's about moving on. Paul Pierce is my favorite athlete of all time. But I had to move on and still be a Celtics fan. I'm a Celtics fan first and a Paul Pierce fan second. I feel like most people who are Tiger Woods fans are Tiger Woods fans first and golf fans second. And I think that needs to change in a big, big way if golf is ever going to become relevant in this country again, I think soccer is going to surpass it sooner rather than later. I find tennis to be interesting. I don't watch a lot of that either. I want to get into these sports where I find it interesting that it's one person and it's their job to win. I really only watch the team sports, but I want to get into golf. But again, I don't want to sit around and talk about Tiger Woods. I just don't. I don't find it interesting. I find him to be lazy with his answers. His interviews are boring. I don't know, when he has a bad day, it's just all annoying. It's just annoying. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do Tiger talk for the next 5 years. As I record this podcast right now, Tiger Woods is in the middle of his 4th major this year, and he has yet to be in serious contention for a win. Yes, he can do good on some days, but he cannot do good on 4 days in a row. And I'm not a golf expert. I think you need to be good all around to win. I think we're ignoring young, up-and-coming golfer. I think we're done with Spieth because he doesn't win in a row. I think Tiger did this to us because we were used to seeing a golfer win tournament after tournament after major after major. Then now that we don't have that, we think that we should have that. And listen, it used to be in the old days, Arnold Palmer would win some, somebody else would win some, Jack Nicklaus would win some. It's not that way anymore. It's not one guy's going to dominate the sport. That's not what golf is for. That's not what tennis is about. I know Federer and Nadal and a bunch of guys have dominated that sport also. Michael Jordan has dominated the NBA. We're used to dominance. And I think golf is a sport we're going to have to accept. There is no one person who is dominant. There's going to probably be 4 different major winners this year. And I think that's a good thing. I think that makes me interested to want to become a golf fan. It doesn't make me want to become a Tiger Woods fan because I don't want to root for the irrelevant. Maybe I'm being harsh because I didn't grow up as a fan. I only really know him from the tumultuous breakup with his marriage and the South Park jokes and all the stuff that I relish because they were hilarious about him. But I'm just not that fan of him as a person. He's not that interesting. I'm not a big fan. He's not interesting. Rory McIlroy is interesting. Again, Jordan Spieth seems interesting. Dustin Johnson is interesting. I want to root for interesting people that have things to say, when Tiger Woods does bad, he says, just a bad day. He has 4 back surgeries. He is irrelevant, and I don't want to root for irrelevance. I don't want to watch irrelevance. No one does. I think it's this nostalgic feeling of not wanting to give up on the Tiger Woods campaign. He might win one more major, and then we're going to go on the he's back parade. He's never going to be back. This is Michael Jordan when he was on the Wizards. That's what you're watching with Tiger Woods. He's on the back end of his career. He is the Michael Jordan of the Wizards. He can sometimes have a good day. He can sometimes have an awful day. And you can waste your whole time watching him play, but you're missing out on the winner of the actual events. And to me, that's frustrating. You're missing out on winning. And sports is about winning. It's about the winner. It's not about the guy who you used to root for 15 years ago because he was interesting. And he wasn't even really that guy, to be honest. After all those things came out, Tiger Woods was not even the person everyone thought he was. So I really don't understand this trying so hard to get him back to being the guy. I used to be a big A-Rod fan. The steroids thing, it kind of ruined it. The same thing should be happening to Tiger Woods, but all these fans are just acting like nothing ever happened to him. It was all back surgeries and everything. It wasn't just back surgeries. It was him as a person became less interesting because when we got to meet the real him isn't that interesting. It's just some guy. Tiger Woods is just some guy who used to be great at golf. He's not the same person, and he's by far and away not the same golfer, and that's the thing. Phil Mickelson, I can say the same thing. I'm sick of the Phil Mickelson this and Phil Mickelson gambling, and it's not interesting to watch these two people play golf. They're going to bet a huge amount of money on a golf game that they're both playing, and they all want us to watch. It's ridiculous. It's living in the past, and I think sports is about the next guy up. The next guy up. That's what sports is about. Who's going to be the next Tiger, the next Phil, the next Michael, the next Federer, the next everyone. It's about who comes next. When a guy goes through the down period, you don't have to watch. When Hank Aaron went through his down period, when Willie Mays went through his down period, they were no longer interesting watches. They were just guys on a field playing a game. They didn't need to be talked about every single day, and neither does Tiger Woods, because I think we're doing it because we think that it gets ratings and it's the most interesting thing to talk about. It's not. Winning should get ratings. I'm not telling people not to be fans of Tiger. I'm not telling you to not look back at those times and think those were your best times as golf fans. I'm just telling you, don't get me to try to be interested in it, because I'm not. I am not interested in having half-hour discussions about is Tiger back on my favorite shows like Around the Horn, PTI, Get Up on ESPN. I'm just sick of it. I watch ESPN so much, and I don't want to have the Tiger conversation because it's no longer interesting. You just think it gets ratings, so that's why we keep going over it again and again and again. Over the last 5 years, how many times I've had to listen to, is Tiger back? Is Tiger back? Is this the real time that Tiger's back? No, because Tiger will never really be back. Tiger was a rarity. It's over. He should know it's over. He knows it's over. He's the one who knows it's over. And if golf is going to survive, I think it's going to have to move on from Tiger Woods. I think the best thing for golf is to stop talking about Tiger Woods. And I don't know how they can stop it. I think ESPN needs to stop it because they're just ruining it for me. I don't want to watch golf because I don't want to listen to all the Tiger talk. I don't want to hear about where Tiger is in the standings. I just don't. I want to concentrate on who is playing the sport well. Could you imagine watching a basketball game and focusing on the 50th best player in the world at the moment? No. Why do you want us to do that in golf? He's not the best player anymore. He used to be. He used to be the best player in the world. He's no longer. He is the 50th ranked golfer. How many other sports or how many other things in life would you want to meet the 50th best at what he does? Never. You're supposed to want to meet the very best at the thing. You're supposed to want to watch the very best do the very best. You don't want to see the 50th best baseball player play baseball. You want to see number one. At least 1 through 10. And golf is ignoring those people. They're not stars like they should be. Jordan Spieth looked like he was going to become a star. I don't know. Is he interesting? Is he dull? I don't know. I just think people will not move on from Tiger talk, and it's annoying. I, for one, find Rory McIlroy interesting. I've seen him do interviews on other shows. I think he's interesting, and I think he should really be more talked about than some guy who hasn't won a major in half a decade. In half a decade. He hasn't won the thing that he said it's the only thing that matters. I remember all those years when Tiger was good. This is the only thing that matters, is those 4 majors. He's not winning those. So in his own definition, he is irrelevant. Why do we keep doing the is Tiger back talk? Again, this podcast is really, I'm really angry about it. I don't want to watch or listen or hear about Tiger Woods until he wins. Not just a tournament, not second place, not finishing even. I want to hear about him winning. I'm sick of older people telling me this is it for Tiger. He's back. This is the Tiger I saw when I was blah, 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 blah. It's not going to happen. We need to move on. We need the next golfer. I need the next golfer to get interested in golf. I think it's holding golf back from getting new fans is because the newer generation don't remember Tiger winning. People my age don't really remember Tiger winning. When we were growing up, was the hard times for Tiger. I don't remember Tiger winning. I remember the Tiger downfall. The 50 and up crowd remember Tiger winning. The 40 and up crowd remember Tiger winning. The 30 and down club, I mean, the last 10 years have been rough. They don't want to listen to Tiger anymore. It's this division, and I think we're going to get to a spot where these two meet, and that's why Tiger gets ratings, but it's like baseball ratings. Old people are watching. Young people are not that interested in Tiger Woods because he doesn't do anything that makes you interested in him. His attitude is not interesting. His golf play is not interesting. Nothing about him right now is interesting. And I want to focus on somebody in golf that I think is interesting. Again, McIlroy, Spieth, Dustin Johnson, anyone else. But Tiger Woods, somebody who is winning. Winning is interesting. Because how people deal with winning is what's interesting. How people deal with losing isn't that interesting. Seeing Tiger's downfall was interesting for like a couple of months. 5 years is too much. You wouldn't give anybody else 5 years. That's what other people won't admit. Nobody else in sports would get 5 years of being just done, and we would still keep talking about him. If LeBron James had 5 bad years of basketball, we wouldn't talk about him anymore. If Max Scherzer had 5 years of not being able to pitch, we wouldn't talk about him anymore. We talk about the very best, except for this one sport, and I don't understand why the hang-up with Tiger. I really don't understand it. I wish I could. I don't have an athlete. Again, I loved Paul Pierce. I wouldn't have watched him stink for 5 years. The last years he was a Clipper were sad for me because I remember the dominance. I wouldn't watch him just to watch him. I feel like Tiger fans want to watch him just to watch him and then say, oh, look, he's back. There's something there. There's like, I don't know. Tiger Woods fans are like, I don't know. They think it's like a shooting star. I just saw one. Ooh. But it's like, dude, that's a plane. That's not a shooting star. You know what I mean? They just think everything they see is like magic, and it's not. You can watch him play. I predict Tiger Woods is not going to win another golf major in my lifetime. I think it's done. What's he, 43 or 42 years old? It's over. Let's move on. I want to get into golf. But I'm not going to as long as the media and golf people continue to talk about Tiger Woods like he matters. Because I know in my heart to heart, he doesn't. I'm not even that big into golf, and I can see it doesn't matter. He's not winning the 50th ranked golf. If they had a Food Network show about the 50th best chef in America, no one would watch. But they watch Bobby Flay because some people think he's the best. Nobody watches the 50th best at anything do stuff. They see the best of the best, and that's the fact of it all. The last thing I want to say about this is it does annoy me when we look at the people who used to be great and say, oh my God, he has to be that person. Like Spieth has to be Tiger. He doesn't have to be Tiger. LeBron doesn't have to be Michael. LeBron doesn't have to be Kobe. LeBron can be LeBron. Can we not appreciate athletes for what they are in the moment? They don't have to reach all the accomplishments of the last athletes. Because if everyone just keeps doing the thing that the guy before them do, no. They have to do new and interesting things or they're not interesting. If you get another Michael Jordan, it's not interesting. There's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one LeBron. There's only one Kobe. This idea in sports that the guy has to be the next guy is annoying to me because I don't want the next guy. I want a different guy. Russell Westbrook is unlike anything I've ever seen in basketball. I don't want a guy to be like Russell Westbrook. Kobe Bryant was very different than Michael Jordan. I know people say, oh, look, he does the same foot moves and blah, blah, blah. Kobe Bryant is vastly different game than Michael Jordan's game. And I appreciate the difference between the two. I don't want Kobe to be Mike. I don't want LeBron to be like Mike. I want different. I don't want golfers to be like Tiger. I'd like to see them do different things than Tiger did. If some guy just dominated the sport like Tiger did, you'd just be seeing the same thing over and over again. That's not interesting. We want to evolve in the sports. We've never seen somebody like LeBron, that big, pass, dribble, shoot, blah, 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 do all those things. Why would we want the same thing over and over again? This idea that you want Tiger to do the exact same thing he's always done is kind of boring. To see a different side of Tiger is actually a little bit interesting. If he could become somewhat relevant, it would be interesting if you could win a major here or there. But you're not going to see a guy win 3 out of 4 majors like he used to do. But something different is interesting. It's not interesting if he just became the same guy again, because it turns out he was never really even the guy you thought that he was with all that stuff that came out. I think the old Tiger is interesting. I think the new Tiger could eventually become interesting, but let it happen naturally, and let's not have it happen with talk after talk after talk shows talking about, is Tiger Woods back? Is this the real Tiger? I miss Tiger. Blah, blah, blah. What about Tiger? Tiger, 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 Tiger. You're annoyed by me talking about Tiger. I'm annoyed talking about Tiger. This is the last time I'm ever going to mention the name Tiger Woods unless he wins again. I'm Cam McKinney. Thanks for listening to the Head to Head podcast. You can catch it on iTunes weekly on the iTunes podcast app. Thanks for listening.